When you turn 60, who will truly be there for you when things get tough? When you were younger, the answer might have seemed clear: family, friends, loved ones. But as I reached 65, I started to realize something I had never thought of before. Family is not always the only support system we can rely on. You may have felt this yourself. Your children have their own lives, your old friends are not as available, and relationships around you change with time. As you grow older, what you thought would always be there may not always be the case. I remember a time when I faced an unexpected health issue. At that moment, I thought, my family will help, for sure. But the reality was different. My children, despite their deep love for me, had their own jobs, families, and financial burdens to manage. They couldn't always be by my side, especially when I needed immediate support. So, what truly becomes a reliable pillar at this stage in life? I had to search for the answer myself and realized there are 6 essential pillars we need to build. Not just to survive, but to live strongly and confidently, even when family can't always be there. Financial independence, health, and a strong social network are the real factors that help me maintain my autonomy and stability in life. And today, I want to share this with you. I believe that once you understand these pillars, you will never feel helpless or lonely in your old age. Let's start together. Pillar 1, physical health. There's a saying, health is gold. Or, with health, you have everything. Without health, you have nothing. This is especially true as we age. When I was 60, I thought I was still healthy and could continue living for many more years without worrying about my health. But in reality, the older we get, the easier it is for our health to decline if we don't take care of it properly. You know, I was always an active person throughout my younger years. However, when I turned 60, I started neglecting my health, thinking I had plenty of time to take care of myself later. But just 2 years of neglect, and my health declined rapidly. A slight change in weather, and I would fall ill. Every morning I felt exhausted, as though I were an old man nearing 80, even though I was only 65. I felt too tired to do simple tasks that I could easily do before. That's when I decided to make a change. I began exercising daily, eating healthily, and paying attention to regular health checkups. Through these efforts, I was able to maintain better health and remain independent, avoiding reliance on others as I aged. From my own experience, I learned that health is not something you can put off. We must start taking care of it today. And if you're watching this video, don't let health warnings become regrets in the future. Pillar 2, financial stability. We all know that when we retire, having a stable income is incredibly important. But if we're not careful, we might find ourselves relying on others, especially our children, for financial support. This is why financial independence becomes an essential pillar as we age. I remember a time when I witnessed my friend Frank go through a financial shock. He had always thought he could depend on his children when facing financial difficulties. But when an unexpected health issue drained his savings, he realized that his children had their own struggles and couldn't help him right then. This realization was a painful one. No one can fully take care of you except yourself. After that event, Frank began to plan his finances more carefully. He learned how to save, invest in long-term plans, and always kept an emergency fund. When you have a solid financial foundation, you feel more secure And most importantly, you don't have to rely on your children or anyone else. Financial independence allows you to maintain freedom and security in your later years. Pillar 3. Ability to adapt to change. A clear truth after 60 is nothing stays the same. People change, circumstances change. The things you once relied on may no longer be there. The key to living well at this stage is not holding on to the past, but being able to adapt to the present. How do you rate yourself on this ability? When I was 60, I would have said I was bad at adapting. However, after 5 years of facing many challenges and changes, I can confidently say that I've improved. At 65, sitting here telling you this story, I know I have a high adaptability to change. We must change. The truth is, those who struggle the most as they age are often the ones who resist change, clinging to what was. But those who know how to adjust, open up, and embrace new things find joy no matter how life changes. I have an uncle named David, who's 77. He always relied on face-to-face meetings with friends to feel connected. But then his friends moved away or passed away. He felt empty. At first, he thought, I guess this is just how it is when you get older. But then he learned to use video calls to stay in touch, joined online discussion groups, and even made new friends. He didn't let change defeat him. He chose to grow with it. Those who thrive after 60 aren't necessarily the wealthiest or have the biggest families, but they are the ones who keep learning, stay flexible, and are willing to try new things. When one door closes, they find another. When relationships change, they learn to connect differently. When something no longer works, they dare to change. Adaptability is one of the strongest pillars you can have. It helps you live with confidence, hope, and resilience. Pillar 4. Emotional strength. Have you ever felt like you were overwhelmed by life's challenges, unable to escape? I've been there, especially when I saw the real story of someone close to me. My sister Mary, who is 80 years old, went through a major loss when she was 60, the death of her beloved husband after many years of marriage. At first, she felt like the world was falling apart. She cried every day. Her eyes were swollen, her spirits were low, and her health declined. It was hard for her to face reality. But after many months, she found a way to overcome the pain. She became strong, and her transformation surprised everyone. Instead of remaining sad, she decided not to let grief take over her life. She joined a support group for people who had lost loved ones, where she met others who truly understood what she was going through. She also began journaling, using it as a way to process her emotions and maintain mental stability. Over time, Mary not only overcame her loss, but became even stronger. She learned to turn grief into motivation, to face life's challenges without fear. Through this story, I want to share with you that emotional strength is not only about overcoming hardship, but also about mastering your own emotions. This allows us not to be knocked down when we face changes in life. If you feel tired or lost, remember that seeking support and learning how to cope with your emotions will make you stronger than ever. Pillar 5. Social connections. You've probably heard the saying, keep true friends close. And I want to emphasize that this is especially important as we age. Loneliness is a dangerous enemy after 60. I'm not just talking about feeling sad, but also about the decline of mental and emotional health. A friend of mine, Helen, showed me the power of social connections. Helen was always a cheerful and sociable woman. But as her children grew up and started their own families, her connection with them started to fade. Especially after her close friends moved away, Helen began to feel lonely. She waited for phone calls from her children, but they didn't come as frequently as before. Then, Helen decided not to sit and wait for things to change, but to create change herself. She started joining book clubs, enrolling in an art class, and even volunteering in a local community group. These activities not only brought her joy, but also expanded her social network. Helen not only reconnected with old friends, but also built new, meaningful relationships. This didn't just alleviate her loneliness, but also helped her maintain mental sharpness and good health. Social connections aren't a luxury. They're a crucial element that helps you maintain emotional stability and happiness in old age. Pillar 6, purpose in life. Have you ever felt like, when a new day arrives, you don't know what you'll do? That feeling can be truly unsettling. Let me share my story with you. When I retired, I thought I would have more time to relax and do what I liked. But soon, I realized that free time doesn't necessarily mean happiness. I felt left behind without any clear purpose. In the beginning, I didn't know what to do. I wandered around the house with no direction. That feeling made me feel like I had lost my value. But one day, I realized I needed to change. I decided to join a painting class at a local community center. I never thought I could learn to paint, but when I picked up the brush, I felt something interesting and new. Every morning I woke up with a clear reason, not just to look out the window, but to create paintings, to learn, and to explore new things. Gradually, painting became an important part of my life. Not only that, but I also started volunteering, helping younger people in the community. This not only brought me joy, but also made me feel useful. Purpose in life is not just about a job, but it helps me feel valuable. And when you live with purpose, you no longer have to rely on others for joy. You create it yourself. And I know I will continue living fully with this purpose for the years to come. Conclusion. Looking back, I realized that the later years of life are not a time to just sit and wait, but a time to build a solid foundation for a strong and independent life. These 6 pillars we've just explored are the key elements that help you maintain independence and happiness, not just in old age, but in every stage of life. To summarize, physical health determines your freedom and independence. Financial stability keeps you from depending on others. The ability to adapt allows you to live with confidence, hope, and resilience. Emotional strength helps you overcome challenges. Social connections help you stay connected, happy, and purposeful. A sense of purpose brings motivation and inspiration each day. Take a moment to reflect on these pillars in your life. Have you built them strong enough? Please share what you've learned from this video in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Healthy Wisdom channel for more valuable content to help you live healthily, happily, and independently after 60. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next meaningful video.